So Hollywood actress AJ Smith has officially lost her mind. She is now recommending, I would say, demanding Black Americans to go back to Africa. Now, this statement in itself, if it was given back in the early 2000s, maybe you would have had a lot of blacks parading behind her and championing her, saying that we need to go back home. But what she doesn't understand that in 2025, the entire political shift of the black mindset, it's happened already. We're not waiting on a shift anymore. Black Americans are proud to be American. Black Americans are proud to be from this nation. They have a movement going on called the Foundational Black American. And before that, a lot of blacks that claim to be native of this land. We've moved so far from slavery where that whole African narrative just doesn't make sense anymore. And there's a lot of proof that blacks were here before Africans even got here. So we resonate with American history more than we do African. And it's not just me saying this. Of course, as you know, I have other footage that's added that validates that. But it's just Hollywood propaganda yet again, trying to find a reason to make black people hate the land that they're from in order to make them rebel from it and make us tools for the oppressors.
That you wish was talked about more within our community.
Understanding our roots, I think it's really important. I think we're not trapped here. With the political climate that's going on in the United States of America.
Now, mind you, AJ Smith, she's talking about a political climate and we're not trapped here while living in America, while not moving to Ghana or any of these African nations. She's still in America and pretty much criticizing black Americans for being here. And I find it hypocritical. And when she said go back to our roots, the thing is, if you're a black American and you ask your grandparent, depending on how old you are at this point, about their African tribe that they're from, the grandparent ain't gonna have anything to say. But almost every grandparent, at least from my generation, I was born in 94, all of our grandparents told us that, hey, we got Native American in us. We might be Cherokee, Blackfoot, this and that, Apache. We've been told all of these different tribes from our grandparents being black in America. Now, the thing is, if these tribes are all native, if we did truly come from African and they pass it down, parent by parent, child to child, how is it that our grandparents recall of being native, recall of their tribe, but can't recall of one African tribe? So when you say go back to your roots, maybe we need to go back to our true roots and not the roots that's been taught to us by liberals. You see, the liberals, they create the lie and then they create these slaves, modern day slaves, these black celebrities, to push the lie on the masses. Because if you can get black people to feel like they're not from this nation, they won't have no loyalty to it. They'll feel like strangers in their own home. So they're not going to take care of it. They're going to try to take from it. They're going to try to steal from it. They're going to feel alienated from a place that belongs to them. America is the land of the free. But yet she says we're not restricted. That's just to tell the people, put them in the mindset of feeling as if they're restricted in the land that's already made for them. America has been built by whites and blacks and even Latinos. It doesn't make sense for us to try to go to a nation or go to a nation that's still trying to be like us. There's nowhere in Africa, in my opinion, that can light a candle to the greatness of America. So why should we settle for less? Because a propagandist tells us to.
America, we are not trapped here. There are places that we can go. There are countries that are receiving us back, citizenship back. And I think with open arms, and I think that it's time for the black community as a whole to start looking into those resources.
And it's a complete lie. Talk about with open arms. It's easy to expose that. I'll be exposed that in this video. They're not accepting us back with open arms. Many black people now resent Africans because of the way Africans treated us. They would act like they better than us in the past. Even if you had Ubers back in the past, like 2013, 12, before this whole I'm a pro-black American, straight from America, they would resent a lot of blacks. And I'm not speaking for all Africans, but just saying from my experience, when I was a kid, even my parents would tell me that, well, Africans, they look down on us. So you got to think those seeds get planted the same way that if we go down to Afghanistan and bomb all of their cities, we're going to have terrorists in the future in our modern day. You know, we're going to have ISIS and all of these different things as a result of our destruction. The same can be said with blacks and Africans. Africans would typically call black Americans ghetto. And when black Americans used to try to call Africans black in the past, They would refuse it and reject it. And I know some Africans might get mad at me saying that, but they would reject being black. They would say, I'm not black, I'm African. So these things have led to Americans rejecting African culture. The main problem with the lie is the fact that people like Queen Latifah were the ones that perpetrated it. Back in the 90s, a lot of people don't know Queen Latifah was elevated in her roles in acting because she was being paid from organizations to wear dashikis, to wear African clothing, etc., and to influence black Americans to go back to their roots. If you remember back in the early 90s to early 2000s, there was a huge wave and people being African, people going back to their roots. It started from Hollywood. Black people don't control Hollywood. It was complete propaganda. From leftists to make black people reject their nation. I mean, you wouldn't even have the whole Black Lives Matter thing because the main vision of Black Lives Matter was the fact that black lives don't matter in America. But the only way you can believe that if you believe Americans technically don't belong in America. And that mindset is bought from the seeds of people like Queen Latifah telling people we're not from here. And that's why people in Hollywood were paying for these marketing campaigns for her and other black artists in the 90s. Let's Be African campaign. You can look these things up. It's much deeper than it appears. And we have been led to the positions we are in. We didn't get here naturally, but we can break out.
And on TikTok, this is my first time doing
And if you
this.
didn't know, this is AJ Smith. She claimed that she was going to be leaving America. She's still on TikTok, making posts, crying about things that this administration is doing instead of focusing on herself.
I've never done a video in this way, but I figure since TikTok is back, I'll utilize my platform a little bit differently. I want to introduce myself.
TikTok is back, but who brought TikTok back for us? Let's be real, y'all. Even if you hate him, Big T did that. How can you talk trash about Trump and his administration if you're literally on a platform that he said?
In a way that's authentic, and I want to be authentic from here on out, which I always was. I just didn't share everything, and I definitely didn't talk straight to the camera as I'm doing right now. I live in Los Angeles in the USA. I'm a part of the 92%. We were never DEI hires to begin with. We've always been overqualified. I stand on what I believe in. I'm a wife. I'm a puppy mom. I'm a career woman. I'm a producer. I'm educated. I'm black. And I love everybody. And I'm going to move forward a little differently on my social media platforms. And I hope y'all join me.
So KJ Smith from Sisters, and it's sad because I'll be watching Sisters every now and then. Then I got to stop watching Sisters. But she said, I guess she was on a red carpet or something. They asked her advice for blacks, and she told them basically move to another country because Trump is in office. She was trying to not say it, but I got the video. I got the proof. She said she told y'all to move to another country. My first question is, why don't she move to another country? It's funny how they're going to tell people you don't have to stay here in this horrible country under Trump, but they ain't left. None of the celebrities that keep talking about they're leaving the country has left the country. She's still here making millions of dollars, living good, probably in a mansion somewhere in California. The struggle is real. The struggle is real. But she tells black people to leave the country.
Something that you wish was talked about more within our community.
Understanding our roots, I think it's really important. I think we're not trapped here. With the political climate that's going on in the United States of America, we are not trapped here. There are places that we can go.
We don't even need to see that twice. Let's go. So this is what I want you to see. Look how black Americans expose how bad it is for them down in Africa. And she wants us to rush into something we're not ready for. We're not treated that good.
One day I had a conversation with one of my African partners, right? And he told me, you know why African people look down on black people? I said, why? He said, because y'all are ignorant. Y'all don't know who y'all really are. Y'all go by false labels. Y'all think y'all are African, but y'all don't know what Africa looks like. You letting them compare you to us when we're not the same. We're from two different areas. So that made me think we're from two different areas. Then I did my research. 94 to 96% of all slaves from Africa were sent to South America or the Caribbean. So you telling me all these black folks is African in the States? When only around 4 to 8% actually came here from Africa?
People need to look up the Indian treaties and look up also, guys, I used to expose the threads on my Twitter, is that when the slave ships were being brought in, they used to disclose this stuff in their newspapers at the time, and they were showing that a maximum of about 12 people, and in special cases, 22 slaves were being brought in at a time. It wasn't a massive amount of slaves that could actually be sufficient enough for the country. So those people, they had to be somewhere. It's worth looking into the Indian treaties. The Indian treaty that we had, I forgot the specific date, 1749. I don't know the date of it specifically, but we had specific treaties and collaborations with the Census Bureau that changed the identity of black Americans. They went from their tribes to then being considered Moors, to then have mulattoes, to then being considered Negroes, to then being considered African Americans, to then being considered black. But you also, at the time of slavery, there was Nubian, Native American tribes. And it was Nubian, Native American, and Moorish were the three at once. And then it's transitioned to Moorish and then became Negro. It's a lot of history behind it. And there's a reason why the Census Bureau do that, because if you don't know yourself, you will allow for someone else, being the Democratic government, to tell you for who you are.
So we come over here, y'all assume we have the money because we come from the States, which to a certain degree, because the city is less, sure. But you have to think too, like, let's say me, myself, I have busted my tail to save money to be able to come over here. So when you raise the price on me and I'm not some millionaire, you know what I mean? It's very disheartening because I save money to come here. I don't have a lot of money, you know what I mean? So in the States, I think there's a misconception that black people have the money. As a majority, I mean, there are individuals, but as a majority, we have the least money in the States.
Well, blacks do, as a majority. They have the least money in the United States. But a caveat to that is interesting that the black dollar spends the most money in the United States. So although by capita we hold the less money, we still somehow spend more than other races. So much so that if black people disappeared out of America, the consumer market would tank. Yeah, majority of the consumer market is dependent on black people spending their money. It's kind of crazy.
This message is for all my American women. If you are going all the way to the continent of Africa just to get the same treatment that you're getting from men over here, let him the fuck go. If he's not calling you daily to check up on you and he's always busy, because ain't no man always busy that he cannot even text you, let him the fuck go. If you are always giving, and you're never receiving, let him the fuck go. If he's not making plans for your future, or he's not trying to elevate you or him in the best possible way, let him the fuck go. If he's always argumentative all the time and disrupting your motherfucking peace, let him the fuck go. Stop going all the way to Africa, 6,000 plus miles away, just to get the same treatment that you're getting from men over here that you claim you're running away from. And you're just tolerating it because as an African man, you think African men are leaders, protectors, and providers. Not all of them are leaders, protectors, and providers. Some of them are a fucking headache.
Black people, come to Ghana, you're welcome, you're the return or beyond return. But once we get here, there's no soft landing for us. There's no resources. There's no help. The Office of Diaspora Affairs.
That's very important too, because Americans, we're so privileged because we get to see how well immigrants are taken care of in the United States. Well, unfortunately for us, we don't get that same benefit and leisure. When we go to these other nations, we're not being taken care of. They do nothing for us. They tell us we got to pick ourselves up by the bootstraps and find our own way. We have it worse in these nations than we do here in America, because America does a good job of taking care of its immigrants. You got to understand, you're not really going to have a lot of respect for this country till you leave it. There are systems put in place to take care of people that's coming in. Not every country has that. You go to Ghana, you go to any of these places, you're starting off from the very, very beginning. And they're not going to say, oh, my black American friend, you've come home. They ain't going to give a damn that you came home. It doesn't matter. They're going to view you as a meal ticket. Why? Not because they're African, but because they're human, and they view you to have more money than them. The same way that the rich is treated in America is the same way average Americans will be treated in Africa. It's about the money, but they get people so brainwashed. And just because someone has melanin, that they are like you. You got to understand that there was a time where black people from different parts of the world wouldn't even deal with blacks from Africa simply because they have different tribes. Black people are tribal to this day. Why do you think gang culture exists? We are tribal. The same way that we had colors and representation of ourselves in the past, the same way that we use hand signals to identify our tribes, is the same way that gangbangers twist their fingers, rep their sets, etc. We are tribal then, we are tribal now. It doesn't make sense. You don't see unity among gangs in America. So there was never this massive unity of blacks. To believe in that propaganda is destructive, because whether black people like it or not, our greatest ally in America is the white American. The white American is our greatest ally, and specifically the white American man. And I know a lot of people might say, well, you have a lot of white women that might lust over blacks. You might, but that don't make them the ally. The white American man has changed laws for the blacks, has helped the blacks, give them ability to make a way. And they can say, oh, they restricted them. The entire world was restricted anyone that was physically fit during slavery. It was never illegal to be black in America. It was never illegal to be black in America. Blacks owned slaves. The first slave owner in America was black. Anthony B. Johnson.
There certainly doesn't do anything to help us. No, yeah, they're not ready. And even as far as like infrastructure wise, like why y'all want us to come put more bodies on these roads that are already, so it was like, no. But I think many of us who are here to help contribute to, I speak for myself, to contribute to the improvement and the development of this country. So I'm committed. I'm here and I'm committed to being a part of the change I want to see, and that's it. But no, they weren't ready. I don't even think they understood what it meant to even tell us to come back here. But we're here.
Connected Minds Podcast.
When I first moved to Africa, I was so naive, and I believed that all Africans would look at me as family. But that was far from reality. To the average African, I was nothing more than a money bag. I'm not saying this because I think Africans are bad, but rather to inform you so you don't make the same mistake that I did. In believing that a complete stranger would look at you as family because you guys have the same skin tone. I have a complete African relocation guide that details everything you need to know before moving here, like what to pack, what to leave behind, how to deal with the locals, how to integrate with the locals. Swipe left and check out the details in my profile.
And this is the thing people don't understand about the infrastructure. We go there, we need to help them with their infrastructure. Their infrastructure isn't at the point of the United States. So we go there, we have to help them build their nation. If not, this is what a lot of you go to, and it's not propaganda. There's a lot of parts of Africa that looks good, but even those nice parts of Africa still doesn't have the roading that we do. It doesn't matter to me if you say, well, we have pavement for 20, 30 miles. We have pavement indefinitely throughout America. So it's like the infrastructure is behind. It is what it is.
I wanna go home.
An actress wants us to go there.
Africans hate their own people. Like, just because we live in a different country doesn't make us any different than y'all. I mean, sure, our culture is different, but genetically, we're literally the same. And you want to know what's crazy? African people copy American culture, and black people want more of their culture. Like, really? We're literally going in separate directions, and that's what's dividing us. This stupid ignorance on both sides needs to stop. Like, it's honestly so dumb. I can't even believe I'm ranting about it on TikTok right now. Just love everyone. Understand both sides. It's that easy. And honestly, this is something I can rant about all day. If you guys are interested, follow me and let me know you want more.
As much as we don't want to believe this, the white man is our only ally in this world. The white American man is our only ally in this world, because he will unite with us under our constitutional rights to help save his country. He's our real brother. The white man.
If China, I've always said this, if China was coming to invade the United States, it would be a white man that would be willing to put a gun in your hand and say, let's go get them. White men willing to fight for this country with blacks. We done it before. This ain't a conspiracy. We done it before. When you turn the internet off, you look at this world that we built, this nation that we built. Okay, on Twitter, you're going to have black people that say blacks built America. And you're going to have white people that say whites built America. But the truth to that statement is we've all done our share. We've all done our share, and that's what makes America beautiful. It's called the United States. That means although we separate, we are united together. Although we have different cultures, different races, we can make the greatest country on earth. The alliance between black and white Americans created the greatest nation on earth, and it shows the power and unity of God's children.
Taught us how to read, homie. The Mexicans didn't. The white man died with us, homie, to help us get out of slavery. The Chinese did. The white man fought alongside the white Jewish man with Dr. King to help us get civil rights. The Mexican didn't, the Latin didn't, the Chinese didn't, the Cuban didn't. So he's really our only friend in the world. Because as much as y'all want to believe, if y'all leave this country, nigga, they gonna kick you worse in your ass. You go somewhere. Go to Africa and watch how the African treat y'all. Nigga, go somewhere. Nigga, man, don't nobody like us but the white boy and his white woman. They our only real friend, my nigga. I swear to God. I swear to God, homie, they our only real friend. That's why, homie, don't nobody else really fuck with us but white people. Everybody else use us for economical benefits.
It's the truth. It's our greatest ally. And a lot of blacks, they'll call you a coon, call you these things. And look at what we built together. We have no proof of what black Americans can build with Africans and create a great Africa. They've been moving there for years. This is the nation we built. This is the nation that we've died on. This is the nation that our ancestors died on. This is our home. Always has been, always will be. So we have to ignore these actresses and actors because they are just that. They're here to play a role, to get us to believe in propaganda that divides us against our own brothers and sisters, white people in America. We accomplish so much more together. And if we could get both sides to stop hating each other, which is an age-old conversation, but if it could be accomplished, just imagine how much farther we could go. We don't get there by listening to these propagandists. Please like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell. I know you guys want to see more consistency from me. I normally post 2 times a day through weekends, rain, sleet, and snow. But I'm currently moving to Miami, actually trying to finalize and be there before the end of this week. I'm trying to be in Miami before the 8th, you know, the number of prosperity and all that. And I have some things that I have to get done down in Miami. I already have some commitments, although I still live here. I should be signing the lease and stuff today and packing up and everything. But it's just been a lot at once. So see you guys on the next one. Hopefully I will have the video at 7 o'clock today. But if not, it'll just be the Miami thing. As soon as I'm in Miami, I'll be more consistent than ever and probably even posting even more. Just got to get this mountain off my back and I'll be back at it like normal. But I could not keep you guys hanging. Had to drop a video. Had to be able to connect with you because, as you know, this is my favorite form of content now. X comes second. So please like, comment, subscribe. I know I said that before, and click the notification bell if you want to stay updated on the next post. See you guys soon until we break the next narrative.